lot of people thought that Texas Congressman Ron Paul would never make it this far in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Who is Ron Paul? A back to the basics conservative or a Republican traitor on the war in Iraq? Well, whatever you think of his politics, he's certainly become a huge player on the internet. For a lot of Americans, Ron Paul first appeared on the radar screen at a Republican debate in South Carolina in a dust-up with frontrunner Rudy Giuliani, after Paul suggested that terrorists attacked on 9/11 because of our interventions in the Middle East.
They attack us because we've been over there. We've been bombing Iraq for 10 years.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11.
Immediately, pundits began to sound the death knell for Paul's underdog campaign.
I think Ron Paul, basically, for me, it's done.
But in fact, it seemed to jumpstart it.
Here's a look at the early results of our text message poll. In first place, Ron Paul, surprisingly.
In weeks and debates that would follow, Ron Paul has become an internet sensation. His videos are getting millions of hits on YouTube, 4 times as many as any other Republican candidate.
We went in there
and during the recent debate in Iowa, the crowd erupted in cheers when he called for a pullout from Iraq.
Just come home. We just marched in. We just come home.
On Facebook's Newsvine poll, the Texas congressman finishes 4th, virtually tied with Hillary Clinton, well ahead of Fred Thompson and Mitt Romney. The 71-year-old retired doctor has enlisted his grandchildren in his internet effort.
It's excited getting on to the MySpace and seeing every day 50 pages of people to add, that are all supporting him.
Ron Paul's straight talk and his opposition to the war in Iraq seems to be fueling much of his support, but on closer inspection, Americans may be surprised to find that, for example, he would eliminate the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Homeland Security.
When you're done, put him in here.
Still, the appeal grows with another relatively new internet tie-in, meetup groups like this one in Dallas, stuffing envelopes for a Ron Paul fundraiser. At virtually no cost to the campaign, Ron Paul has more than 730 meetup groups all around the country, all hooking up, all communicating through the internet.
When you see his speeches on the internet and you see his passion for what he believes.
Dallas land developer Donald Huffines and his family have jumped into the internet effort in what some are calling the Ron Paul revolution.
The role it's playing is hugely significant. It's where most of the fundraising is taking place for the campaign, most of the organizational structure is taking place for the campaign, and most of the energy that people can tune to every day and feel a part of is available to them on the internet.
Other Republicans would argue that Ron Paul's position on the war in Iraq amounts to treason. They point to the fact that he ran for president in 1988 as a libertarian. But whatever your take on Paul and his campaign, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Ron Paul remains a real long shot for the Republican nomination. Many believe that he will eventually run as a third-party candidate.